Okay, good afternoon class. So here, ito yung answer key natin nung quiz natin last meeting. So we have this free body diagram with this system with a three force. And technically, dun sa given natin, isa lang dun yung may angle. And yun yung F1. So F1, meron siyang angle dito na 35 degree. And merong magnitude na 600 Newton. Okay, and then next we have F2 na may magnitude na 500 Newton. Okay. 500 Newton and then meron siyang slope. Okay, meron siyang slope na 3 and then 4 to. Rise over na 4 over 3. And then, technically, sa F3 natin, meron siyang magnitude na 800 Newton while given dimension. And na-solve natin yung dimension niya na as the total, yung horizontal component niya is 0.4. So, 0.4 to. Ayan, yung total na yan. And then, yung distance niya from the origin is 0.2. So, meron tayong dimension na rise over run din. We can say na rise over run niya or yung slope is also 0.2 and then 0.4. Okay? So, yan yung working equation natin. So, 0.4 yan. Okay, so first, before tayo mag-solve, kunin muna natin yung mga angle. Okay, so technically, we have the angle for F1. F1 theta is equals to 35 degree. Then F2 theta. Okay, so let's separate this F2 theta. As what I said, so ganito talaga dapat yung drawing yan. Pakita natin properly. Ayan yung drawing yan. 4, 3. Yung angle na to is equal sa angle na to. Okay? So, complement, siya, tawag doon, congruent, the interior angles of a parallel line is congruent. Okay? Lalo na pag same side. So, kung congruent yan or equal, we can say na yung makukuwang angle natin sa tan theta or makukuha nating angle sa theta is equals to tan raised to 4 over 3 as kasi ito yung angle. So, ito yung opposite natin. Ito yung adjacent. Okay? Over 3 is equal sa F2 theta natin. Okay? So, next tayo. So, meron tayong mismong dimension, yung horizontal, yung component nung F3 natin, which is, ang pinapakita dito is 0.4 yung total nito. 0.4 yung total vertical and 0.2 yung natin. So, we can get the F3 theta. Okay? We can get the F3 theta as tan raised to negative 1. So, ito siya. So, kung ito yung angle natin, kung ito yung magiging angle natin, technically, we can have 0.2 over 0.4. Okay? Pero, kung yung angle natin, guys, is this one, pero kung yan yung angle natin, mag-iiba na natin. So, magiging theta is equals to tan raised to negative 1. Ano nga ba itong pinapakita ko sa inyo? 0.4 over 0.2. Okay? So, ayun. So, let's get all the angle. Na, tama naman, diba? 0.4 TOA. Okay, so, either of the two, pwede nyo gamitin yan. Parehas lang yan. Okay? Di man technically parehas, pero once we use the cosine and sine, same value lang yan. Okay, so, first, kunin natin yung angle dito sa F2. So, theta is equal to tan raised to negative 1, 4 over 3. So, tan, shift tan 4 over 3. So, ang angle na yan, so, ano lang tayo? 2 decimal lang muna. 53.13 degree. Okay? So, shift toward D. Okay, so, ayan. So, ayan yung angle natin. Next, kung natin yung angle na to. Okay, so, kung natin yung angle na to, then gawin natin yung angle din na isa. So, shift tan 0.2 over 0.4. Wait, shift tan 0.2 over 0.2. over 0.4. And yung angle na to guys is equals to 26.57. Okay, or 565. And technically, itong angle na to is equal to 63.43. Okay? 90 minus answer. Ayun, 63.43. So, try nyo kunin din on your own para makita nyo. And, so, as what I said, either of these two angle we can use. Okay? Kayo bahala as long as tama yung magiging ano ninyo. Okay? So, dahil itong blue na to, itong blue theta, okay, itong blue theta, and then, we have this maroon theta. Itong blue theta, nabulol na ako. Itong blue theta na to guys, technically is, tawag doon, sorry, inisip ko. So, itong blue theta natin na to is relative to y-axis. Technically, baliktad or reverse yung sine and cosine natin. So yung magiging, ano natin, horizontal component, wait lang, maling kulay. Yung horizontal component natin is magiging sine function siya kasi opposite. While yung vertical component natin or yung y is magiging cosine kasi adjacent siya ng angle natin. Pero kung yung gagamit nating angle is yung maroon na theta, okay, so yung maroon na theta guys, technically same siya as before, okay? Sine yung vertical or yung y, and then while yung ano natin is while yung adjacent or horizontal component is cosine. Okay? So, yun lang yun. Okay? So, either of the two, kung tatandaan nyo, pag relative to x-axis, cosine yung x, y yung sine. If yung angle nyo or yung theta nyo is relative to y, okay, ang mangyayari is, yung horizontal or x component yung magiging sine, while yung ano nyo is magiging cosine. So, ano note natin? If theta is relative, so regardless yan kung positive o negative y-axis yan ha. So, kayo na bahala sa magiging sine yan. X component will be sine function, okay? While, sulat na natin, while y component, not component ito. Okay, pardon my writing. While y component will be cosine function. Okay, so sulat natin if theta is relative positive or negative x-axis, okay, x component, okay, as is lang yan, baliktad lang, will be cosine function, and then while y component will be sine. Okay, huwag nyo kakalimutan yan para di na kayo malito. Okay, I hope di na kayo malito dyan. So, let's proceed now with the components. So, we have here so, we have x, and then x component x com tapos y com. Okay? F1. So, technically, F1 is on quadrant 1. So, parehas positive yan. Okay? So, 600 cosine 35 and then 600 sine 35. So, F2, as what I said, is in quadrant 2. So, negative yung x component. Okay? While positive yung y component natin. Okay? So, magiging negative 500 cosine, yung angle na to, 53.13. And then, positive cosine, ay sine na pala to, 500 sine 53.13. Next, F3 natin. So, F3 guys is on quadrant 4. So, positive X component, negative Y component. So, as what I've said, parehas lang yan as long as tama yung magiging trigo function nyo. So, kung gagamitin nyo yung maroon theta, which is 63.43, so dapat X component nyo will be cosine, while yung Y component nyo is sine. Okay? So, magiging, ganito siya. So, magiging 800 cosine 63.43. Okay? While negative 800 sine 63.43. Okay? If, kung gagamitin yung angle is yung blue na theta, so baliktad yan. So, magiging 800, positive pa rin pala. Magiging 800 sine 26.57 and then so on. So, negative 800 cosine 26.57. Okay? So, oh. Okay, so konting changes. Yun nga, yung theta pala dapat natin is 36.87. Okay, and then ito, 36.87. So, ayun, bali dito, ganun din sa F2 natin. Kaya bala kung gagamitin yung angles relative to negative x-axis or relative to y, relative to positive x. So, kung relative to positive x, you need to get the supplementary angle, no? Angle natin dito sa F2. Okay, so we can now proceed with solution. So, ayan. So, uh, ayan. Summation of f of x, summation of f of y. Okay. So, ayan. Summation, ayan na. So, let's solve. Okay, so 600 cosine 35 minus 500 cosine 36.87 plus 800 cosine 63.43. Okay. So, final answer dito is 449.324 or 4. Okay, sulat natin buo. 412. Next tayo, 600 sine 35 plus 500 sine 36.87 minus 800 sine 63.43. So, final answer is negative 71.364 to 7192. So, pare-pares naman Newton yan. So, meron na tayong, we can now solve for resultant. Resultant, okay, ayan pa din yung formula. So, R is equal to, ilan? Squared plus alpha A squared. Is equal to 454.956 Newton. Okay? Tama ba? 7192 squared plus alpha A squared. Square root of answer. Tama. 45454. 0.8 pa. Ganun table lumalabas. Okay. Wait. So, malinaw. I hope malinaw yung topic na to. Iinit Yung recording tayo. Next, data na. So, for the sake lang of the, ito na may final answer na. For the sake of the solution, let's get the direction also. Direction is equal to, is equal to 350.9 97 degree. Okay? Or, negative 9.03, tama ba? Negative 903 degree. Or 9.03. Okay? So, yun yung final answer natin. Okay? So, I hope malinaw tong part na to. So, we have this problem number 2 na okay, so technically number 2 is reverse process siya. We have the F, we have the resultant, and we need to find the component ng resultant natin, which is F1 and F2. So, let's assume na yung F natin is naka-follow through siya sa y-axis sa positive para may marker na tayo. Okay? Para tayo malito. So, okay? Let's start natin yung free body. So, ito yung free body. Napatagal ako doon. Okay. So, ito yung F natin. Ayan siya. Okay. Ayusin natin pala. Ayan yung F natin. Next, we have here, Next, we have the F2. Ito yung F2 natin. Okay. F2, meron siyang angle na 45 degree. Okay, and then we have F3, ay F1. Meron siyang angle na 30 degree from positive x-axis. Okay, so let's notice first yung component ng F2 and F1 natin. So ito yung F2, ito yung F1. So yung F1 natin, F2 natin first, check natin. So technically, dahil north is yung movement ng F2 natin, we can say na yung vertical component niya is going upward or going north. Okay? And then, yung F2 niya, ay yung x component niya is going to the going to the right. And then, next, the F1 here. Okay? Going upward siya, guys. And then, ito ngayon yung pagkakaiba ng F2 and F1 natin. Technically, F2 natin is going right yung x component niya or horizontal. Pero, sa F1 natin, going left naman yung x component niya. And it matters. Okay? So, dahil vector to, direction matters. Okay? So, ngayon, ang mali ko nung una, so, malitong ano na to, na summation of all forces equals to F1 plus F2. Okay? Mali yan. We cannot say na 5 is equals to F1 plus F2. Kasi kung ganyan yan, technically, we can solve every problem. Okay? So, mali yan. Pero, technically, ganyan yung idea. Pero, dapat, let's say that summation of all forces along x equals to 0 and summation of all forces along y is equals to 0. And then, yun nga, yung marker natin na all forces going right, positive, all forces going up, positive. Okay? So, first, check natin yung unang equation natin dito. Sa summation of f of x equals to 0. And dahil, dalawa lang yung forces natin along horizontal component or along x, yun yung F2x natin, which is positive. And then, negative yung F1 natin. Okay? So, ayan yung working equation. So, F2x is equals to F1x. Next. Summation of forces along y is equals to 0. So, ganun pa rin. Tama yung unang idea natin na dapat is tama yung unang idea natin. Why is it like this? Wait. Okay, so, guys, so balik tayo dito. So, check muna natin yung resultant natin, di ba? As what I said, resultant natin yung F, okay? And then, technically, yung F natin, guys, yung resultant natin is along y-axis. So, we can say that summation of all forces along x is equal to 0. And, technically, summation of all forces along y is equal to F. Kasi nga, yung mismong forces mismong resultant natin is along y-axis. So, wala siyang x, pero meron siyang f. Okay? So, yung f natin, or meron siyang value. Merong value yung y natin. Okay? So, from that idea, so, yun pala dapat. Okay. So, magiging ganito siya ngayon. Okay? So, r natin, yun nga, di ba? R natin is equals to summation of forces along x squared, summation of forces along y squared. Okay, so dapat, ayun. So magiging R is equals to 0 squared plus F squared and so on. So R is equals to F. Okay? So ayan yung idea natin. Okay, so proceed tayo dito ngayon. My God! So ayan. Di ako bobo. So, so F1x, so parehas positive yan, plus F1y is equals to F. Okay? So, ayan yung F1y, tama, y pala to. F2y, F1y. Okay? So, ito yung unang equation natin. So, we can say that, F2y is equals to F minus F1 cosine 30. Okay? And so on. So, F2y or F2 is equal to F minus minus F1 cosine 30 all over cosine 45. Okay? Yan ang working equation natin. And, so, solve na natin to. Grabe. That's a moment of truth for me. So, we can now solve this one. So, tuloy tayo dito. Ayan. So, pwede siyang i-substitute dito. So, magiging, actually, kahit anong gawin natin dyan. So, magiging, itong f of x natin. So, ito equation 1, ito equation 2. Okay, f1, f2x natin is f2 is equals f2x or f2 sine 45 is equals to f1 cosine 30. Okay, so ayan yung working equation natin. Or sine 30, I mean. Okay, so ayan. So f2. Ayan. So magiging f minus f1. So lagyan natin yung value 0.866 all over 0.71 is equals to f1 0.5. Okay, and then magiging, so ito, ayan na, solve natin dito. So magiging 5 minus 0.866 f1 is equals to f1 0.5 0.71. Okay? And then, may 0.71 pa dito. 0.7 o 0.71. So, ayan. 0.71. Okay? 0.71 na din yan. Okay, so next. Yun. So, ayan. Equate natin to. So, 0.71 times 5. 3.55 minus 0.866 times 0.71. 0.615 F1 is equals to 0.5 times 0.71 equals Actually, pwedeng mag-cancel out itong cosine 45 tsaka sine 45 natin. So, kung ka-cancel out natin siya, so magiging ganito na yung working equation natin. Magiging 5 minus 0.866 F1 is equals to 0.5 F1. Okay, so 5 is equals to 0.5 plus 0.866 parenthesis F1. So F1 is equals to 5 over 1.366. Okay, so F1 is equals to 5 divided by 1.36. 5 divided by 1.366. Is equals to 3.66. Okay. Okay, 0.366 kilonewton. So, we have F1 and then solve lang natin siya dito. So, magiging F2 sine 45. Magka-cancel out nga pala to. Magka-cancel out lang yung multiply natin both sides. Okay, so F2 sine 45 is equals to 3.66 sine 30. Okay, so F2 is equals to 3.66 sine 30 all over sine 45 So, F2 is equals to answer sine 30 all over sine 45. Ay, ano to? 3.66 sine 30 all over sine 45. So, yeah. 2.588. So, 2.588 kilo Newton. So, ayan yung final answer natin. Pero still, bonus to. Okay? Just for the sake. So, ayan.